Hello everyone, and welcome to 4KB Shorts Bargain Bin with Sunless Sea. Now, Sunless Sea is by Fail Better Games. Now, if you don't know what Fail Better Games are, Fail Better Games made Fallen London. As you can see right here in the menu, it says Play Fallen London. If you don't know what Fallen London is a text and card-based web browser game. You go in your web browser to fallenlondon.com. It's free to play, uses turns, you get 20 turns, and each action takes a turn. And what you do is you select cards, and then those cards give you a story, and then you select actions to take. Now that's Fallen London, and if you guys want to know more about it, I did do a bargain bin previously, so you can watch a blind bargain bin of that, or you can go check it out yourself, fallenlondon.com. It is free to play, absolutely free to play. You can check that out. Now that world, Fallen London and Fail Better Games, was created a while back and has been slowly being added onto and stacked onto and so on and so forth. From that, they've created Sunless Sea. Now, Sunless Sea is built in the same world as Fallen London. And it still uses the same kind of card system where you get cards, you make actions, or take actions, or select actions, or do things. And then that creates a story. It creates not only your story, but it unlocks the story of Fallen London. The only difference is unlike the web-based game, this is an actual desktop game, which is available on Steam, early access, which means it's incomplete, but we'll go ahead and go into that in a minute, and it's a roguelike. So you can die, you will die a lot, you will die of multiple different causes, but as you die, or when you die, you can then pass on things to your next captain, yay! And that captain then goes on to do more stuff in Fallen London, and you unlock more stuff. And the whole goal of Sunless Sea, the goal of Fallen London is just to play and unlock stories. The goal of Sunless Sea is to collect things and then write your memoirs and then retire. You want to do a thing and then retire. It's very important that you do whatever this thing is and then retire from being a Zea Captain. And it's really fun, it's really interesting, it's top-down. We'll get into the game and I'll show you how it plays, but it is a roguelike, there are action sequences, but it's sort of a mix between a top-down, real-time piloting piloting game, mixed with turn-based combat, such like Faster Than Light, mixed with the standard card and story-based world of Fallen London. And we'll get into how that works exactly when we get into the game, and I'll explain a little bit of it. But again, if you want to know about the world of Fallen London, play Fallen London. Honestly, play Fallen London. It's super awesome, and you'll probably learn more about the game, the world of Fallen London, through that than you will from Sunless Sea, mostly because you can't die in Fallen London. And Fallen London is not the kind of game where they're like, here's the story of all of the Unterzea and of London and all that jazz, and you're an epic person and you need to save the day. No, they're like, you are a prisoner. Escape. And that's where you start in Fallen London, and then after that they're like, go and do things and learn, and you only learn about the world through creating the stories. And Sunless Sea is kind of the same way, so we'll get into that. Now, as the alpha build, because I know you guys are like, it's an alpha, no, not another one of these games. Remember, it is built on top of Fallen London, which means a lot of the stories and a lot of the content already exists. The only stuff that's really not included in the game are very specific things that are specific to Sunless Sea, like certain goals, map locations, things like that. The stories themselves are numerous. You will die countless times before you unlock everything, believe me. But there are some things that are missing, and so we'll get into that. But let's go ahead and start a new game. We would continue, but we'll start a new game to show it from the very beginning, to show you what kind of stuff you're going to run into in Sunless Sea. So let's start a new game. Yes. Giant shark, which is just awesome. Upgrade your lodgings and create a will, and you can pass on resources to your heirs. Not that they'll appreciate it. So there's actually one of the things that you can do in order to continue the game, like when you go from being this captain to the next captain. Captain's making. Stolen by bats. Oh, there's a glitch here. This happens sometimes, there's a glitch. It says London was stolen by bats in the time of Victoria. I really wish I could read that to you, because this is the history of Fallen London right here. Basically, it says in the time of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies miles below the surface. That's not important. What is important is the vast black sea beyond London, a sea which is yours to explore. So again, not perfect. It does have bugs in it, but this is not the worst bug you'll ever come across, I'm sure. Now from here you can choose a past or have a past, wreath, and shadows. Choosing a path gives you a little bit more bonuses. Past, wreath, and shadow gives you a quicker way into the game. As it says here, if you want to get in, or if you want to get out to Z immediately, choose this. Opportunities to revisit your past will arrive later. So you have that option. It's harder. It's hard. You get into the game faster, but it's harder because you don't have any of the bonuses that you get when you choose your past. So we'll choose our past. So our quality of lodging hasn't changed because it's higher than 0. Okay. So here's our here's our chance to choose who we are. Who were you? Now you're a captain. Now you belong to the unterzea. But who were you before? A street urchin? Your urchin gang cast you out when you grew too tall. You took to the Z rather than graduate to larger crimes. The last big score was enough to buy a ship. So we get a bonus to veils, subtlety and evasion. A poet. An education and articulate soul seeking sensation at sea. How lucky you had a legacy to spend. Gives us bonus to pages, the skill of trickery and knowledge. Veteran of the campaign of 68. You fought in the invasion of hell. London's armies lost. You survived. Your loot and your pension have bought you a command. And that gives you a bonus to iron. An ordained priest. You fell from grace. There's nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found his way out for you. Found this way out for you. And that'll give us a bonus to hearts, a skill of healing and morale. Natural philosopher. Your particular theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the neath of the cavern where London lies. And now they take you out to Z. And we get a bonus to mirrors, a skill of detection and perception. So unlike Fallen London, where you are a prisoner from the start, this one you get to choose your past, which is really interesting that you get to choose your past. So we're going to go with a natural philosopher because getting the mirrors with detection and perception is really super helpful in combat. So if you acquire the plausible surgeon, will serve as your ship's doctor until you find someone better. And as you can see, this is our whole interface. Kind of point this out here. This is our whole interface. This is what you will do inside the docks. This is where all of Fallen London takes place. This is your logbook, which tells you all sorts of useful and not so useful things. Your ship controls are up here. And then your crew controls are up here, including your base crew, which are just nameless crew members, yourself, and then all of your stats here, your veils, your pages, your mirrors, your iron, and your hearts. You also have a mascot which you can change. Our mascot is a comatose ferret. Mostly, it's immobile. Occasionally, it's feral. Hearts +1, cool. And surgeon, plausible surgeon, he probably won't saw the wrong limb off. Pages 1, hearts 1. Now you can speak to your officers. They have stories. Every officer has a story. You can learn their stories. Really awesome stuff that you can get really deep into in the game if you want. They also help you upgrade your stats. So our doctor will help us upgrade our pages stats, I believe. But let's continue creating ourselves. Your acquaintance, the plausible surgeon, will now serve as your ship's doctor until you find someone better. So we got echoes. Echoes are money, so we're now up to 70 echoes. We have 1 plausible surgeon, 25 mirrors. We now have a total of 50. We're a natural philosopher. Now you're Zea Captain. And our stranger quality has gone. Now this is where we get to choose what we want to do, how we want to continue our game before we retire. Super duper important. As you can see, these ones, again, alpha build. This is where alpha build comes in. Your father's bones. Find where and how your father died and return his remains to London for a decent burial. And as you can see, this is not available in this build. So it's not complete yet, but there are 3 down here that you can do. Private kingdom, establish a settlement where you are absolute ruler. A utopia, perhaps. Perhaps. The uttermost east. Find what lies beyond the map's edge. Which is a lot harder than you might think, considering the map is huge. It is huge. We'll have to show you the map. Sort of. But the 2 that you can do right now are fulfillment and wealth. Fulfillment, gather 100 tales. Learn all you can of the Z. Write a masterpiece. Retire. And wealth, you know how it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family perhaps. So these are the 2 choices you have, money or fulfillment. We'll go with fulfillment, because money, I have a hard time making money in the unterzea. I'm not a very good Zea Captain. So we're going to go with fulfillment. So whenever you turn to Fallen London, you have the option of retiring, but you'll need to write your masterwork first. So an occurrence. Your ambition quality is now become London's most venerated explorer. Yay! Now we get to choose what they call us. Captain! Captain! An irregularity with Harbour Master's office. They wish to know, what term of address do you prefer ashore? This will determine what people call you. Your actual gender is up to you. So, madam. More Zea Captains choose this than you might expect. Sir, citizen, a term of address popular among those of egalitarian sentiments. My lord, my lady, and captain. Captain will do perfectly well ashore as well as at sea, thank you. We'll go with captain, why not? Captain, my captain. So we are now called captain ashore. Now we get to choose our face. So you can have multiple different faces. You have a nice lady with a squid hat, or a squid head wrapped in stuff. It's hard to tell. You have female portraits if you like. You have male portraits. Of course, you have, Captain Yaw right there. You have some really oddball portraits if you like, including, the Mummy and the Phantom of the Opera. This is a blank, of course. If you want to choose that one, they give you the option to choose that one as well. We'll just go with the Zea Captain. We'll go with the standard Zea Captain. And we'll put in our name. My name is 4KB short, so that's who we are. And there we go. Fallen London. Fallen London. Deep, dark, and marvelous. Marvelous. All voyage start here, and this is where successful voyages end. Unsuccessful voyages usually end at the bottom of the Z. So let's go to our lodgings. It's always a good place to start. Here you may catch up with your correspondence, rest or retire altogether from the seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better the quality of your retirement, naturally. So as you can see, again, much like Fallen London, if you've ever played or seen Fallen London, this is something you'll be used to seeing. You have your little stats down here which say you can do this if you have all this stuff. We need one terror to rest in our room. We don't have one terror because we haven't been out to sea. We can purchase an elegant tower house, we can write our will, we can adorn your lodgings with captivating treasures, convert a collection of outlandish artifacts into an heirloom, write the Song of the Z, consider retiring from seafaring life and back to the rest of the city. So we can only read the morning papers. Fine. The Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the spiteful trumpeter, news. News from abroad. The Carnatic is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies are on the Carnelian coast want independence. They always do. The unterzea, the papers report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet it hasn't. You'd know. Oh ho! A promotional coupon for Miss Plenty Provisioners for a half cask of salt herring. You could use that. So look, we read the paper, we got some supplies, and we got recent news. Now recent news can be traded. Aha. Which we will do later. Now from here, we're going to go back to London. Now, there's lots of ways to make money. I've never really gotten any trade routes set up because I've not gotten that deep into the game. But the best way to make money is by visiting the Admiralty's office, because the Admiralty will give you money for port reports. And since you're going to ports anyway, bringing them back to London is just a great way to make a little bit of cash here and there. So let's go ahead and do that. Visit the Admiralty's office. They'll pay for information from Zea Captains. Find out what and how. Alright, the Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Zea Captains a small sum for recent information. So visit and investigate ports to gain port reports and trade them in here. The first time you trade in a port report, you'll gain an Admiralty's favor, which will help you later on. Ask if there's anything in particular they need. Well, if we can be assured of your discretion. Speak to our agent there, in return. We'll see that you're rewarded. So we want to retrieve strategic information from the Iron and Misery Company funging station somewhere not far from home waters. That's as close as they're going to get to telling you where it's at. And you have to find it yourself, believe me. So we want to do that. Now we don't have any port reports to sell, so we won't bother going back. But now we have a port to find. It gives us direction. We can't visit the university because we don't have any secrets. We can carouse the Wolfstock docks, but it costs 30 echoes, and that's way too much right now. We can hire more crew, which we have 8 crew. We can hire like 2 more. Sensible sailors are looking for a safe run to the tomb colonies, or at least a sane run to the southern archipelago. You'll need to buy drinks, spread around hiring fees, looking for daredevils. That's right. The lowest challenge, we have 81% chance of success, but it costs us 30 echoes to do that, and I'm not going to pay 30 echoes for 2 crew members. We don't need them. You can put your ship in dry dock if your ship is broken, damaged in a fight. Offers passage to the tomb colonists. This is also a great way to make money, and we're going to do that. So a clutch of immigrants will pay to be taken north to Venderbright. So here we go. It's oddly difficult to die in fallen London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew caught these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. The tomb colonists are in your hold. Take them north to the colony of Venderbright and sell them there. Now it says sell them there, but I don't like to think of it as selling them. I like to think of it as dropping them off for a finder's fee. Now, the way you manage your ship before we leave, because now there's nothing else to do in Fallen London. You have to start somewhere. So this is where we're going to start. You have your hold. Now your hold shows your guns. Now we have 1 forward gun. We have 1 forward deck, 1 auxiliary, 1 aft deck, our engine, and then our bridge. I don't know what goes in these just yet. I haven't found out, and I haven't found an upgraded gun. But you can upgrade your ship, which is the Candid Ligeia class steamer, which is good. We have our goods, which is tin fuel, which is how we get places. We have 6 supplies, which is how we feed our crew. And we have 3 tomb colonists, which is money. In our hold, we have curiosities. We have 70 echoes. 1 Invictus token. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. You are in unforgiving mode. With no save slots beside the basic autosave, you will lose this token if you switch from unforgiving to merciful mode. Now, unforgiving mode is exactly like what it sounds like. It's roguelike. You go out to Z, you're on your own until you come back to port. If you never come back to port, that's it. You're done. Plus, you can't save your game, and your autosave gets saved over when you start a new game. very roguelike. If you go to merciful mode, you can save in multiple save slots. You can have multiple save games. I think you can have multiple open games, but the idea is that if you die, you can reload an old game so you don't lose out. Totally up to you which way you want to go. I stick with the unforgiving mode just to keep it more, fun. And we have recent news. Outlying colonies are often eager for this. You can't collect more than one recent news at a time, which is fine. We have 19 out of 40 cargo hold. We can jettison cargo, which we're not going to. We have our journal, which tells us who we are and what we need to do. Our accomplishments are we're a mariner. We're a mariner. You know something about the unterzea. Good. We have a quality of lodgings, our past, a natural philosopher, our ambition to become London's most venerated explorer, and we have an Admiralty's report which tells us where we need to go. This is like your mission log. If you ever get stuck, if you're like, I don't know where to go next, this is how you figure out where to go next. We have our officers, who, of course, we don't have any extra officers, so we can't switch officers out. If you get the first officer you get goes here, but you can pick up other officers and switch them out. Same with your mascot. You can switch out your mascot if you get a different one. We have our shops. Now, every place has its own shops, which has shops set to different prices, so they're not all the same prices. The cheapest place to get food and fuel is right here in Fallen London. I think fuel might be a little bit cheaper there's a fire island up in the north full of devils. I think they sell fuel really cheap there, but it's so far out of the way that it's hard to get to. But Miss Plenty's shipside provisions is where you want to go for supplies and fuel. We also have Boltitude's House of Visions, the Caminus Yards, the Caro's Naval Supplies, the Wolfstack Exchange, and the Iron and Misery Company. These guys will sell engines. Apparently they'll Compulsion, a roaring beast of an engine. Wow. 3,500 power per 5,000 echoes. Not cheap. We have the Wolfstack Exchange where you can buy and sell goods. You can buy a crate of human souls. Yeah, that's Fallen London for you. You can buy a crate of human souls. There are some weapons here, upgraded weapons, trap weapons, things like that, which you can buy for several hundred echoes. We have the Hell Thrashel here in Caminus Yards. I'm not sure if these will even equip on our ship, but that's okay. The Rat Sender, which basically is used to send rats about your ship. The rats will fix your ship. Fun stuff like that to keep your ship up to date. And then you have a shipyard. Now this is our current ship, the Candid, the Ligeia class steamer. This tramp steamer has served well, but for a long, long, long time. Now these are the current ships that are available for purchase. There's only 4 of them. 5 of them, excuse me. The Caligo class merchant cruiser for 8,000 echoes. The Menad class frigate for 15,000 echoes. The Forsyth class corvette for 6,000. The Lamped class cruiser for 4. And the Escatologue class dreadnought for 30,000 echoes. So you can buy upgraded ships, but they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. I've never been able to buy an upgraded ship, but then I've never had enough money to really do anything in Fallen London. Because again, I'm not very good at trading things. Mostly I just like to explore. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to leave Fallen London. We're going to head north to Venderbright, because why not? Now, if we happen to bump into that one place that we wanted to go, we'll stop there. But most likely we won't, which is absolutely fine. So let's go ahead and head north. And to do that, we just have to hit our E key to get out. Boop. And we're going to go. So here's our controls. We have our fuel up here, 9 fuel, and when this burns down, it will go out. The barrel will go out. We have Hunger 4, so as this goes up, we'll feed our crew at this point. And we have our Terror. Now, while you're at Z, your Terror will increase slowly over time. And bad things happen, it'll increase, so on and so forth. When it gets to 100, your crew will mutiny. And when your crew mutinies, bad things happen. Now, we're going to get into combat so I can show you guys what combat's like. So we're going to fight this guy. The Auroral Megalops. These are the younger form of gargantuan Z-crabs, driven up from their spawning grounds in the south by peculiar radiations. Younger they may be, but they are still large enough to consume a pony with messy and clattering glee, or to pose a menace to ill-prepared ships. So we can flee if we didn't want to fight, but we do, so we're not going to. Fleeing will usually increase your terror, so very important to know that. And then you can fight. It surges from the water, its carapace throbbing with a queasy golden glow. So let's go ahead and go and do that. Combat tips. You're trying to increase your enemy's illumination. Heal a bar by their portraits, so you can see and damage them. They are trying to increase yours. Evasion actions will reduce your illumination. Attacking actions will do hull, crew, and life damage. Your mirrors, veils, and iron score will make a big difference to the effectiveness of all these actions. So let's go ahead and continue. Now this is what combat looks like. This is where the thing where Faster Than Light comes in. It's turn-based. It's very turn-based. There's not a lot of action actually happening. But it's turn-based. So you have your combat log, which tells you exactly what happens over here. You have life, crew. If it was a ship, it'd have crew. So you have life, crew, and then your action area, and then life, crew, and your enemy's action area. You have your distance, and you can disengage if you get far enough away. Distance must be 95 yards, and illumination must be 25. This will cause your terror to increase. So if you run away like a screaming little child, your crew will be all like, not a very good captain. So our hull is 75 out of 75. Crew is 8 out of 10. His life is 5 out of 5. Not very much at all. It takes one shot to drop him. Now here are our actions down here. We have Observe, requires illumination 25. Hold steady, just 1 moment. Increase both your and your enemy's illumination by 5. Gains observations. 10 observations may earn you something after the battle. So if you want to do observations, like 10 observations, you may get something after the battle. I've never done 10 observations, and I'm not going to bother doing them now because it takes a little while to do 10 observations, to basically manage the fight long enough to get 10 observations, but that might get you something. Emergency repairs 2 hull in 2 seconds for 2 supplies. Slight reduces illumination, so it's helpful to repair your ship if you took damage. Flank speed, quicker than evade and increases distance more, but costs 1 fuel, also somewhat decreases your enemy's illumination. Evade, it reduces your illumination, slightly increases distance. Flee reduces your illumination slightly and increases your distance so you can disengage, so you can run away. Now we have Illuminate, this is how we see our enemy. Potent flares, more effective than basic flares, but requires 1 fuel and increases your own illumination a little further. Flares, illumination illuminates an enemy, but also illuminates the attacker a little. Reduce the distance and increase their illumination, this is Seek. This does not increase your illumination, but it has a longer warm-up than firing a flare. And then our attacks are Salvo, requires 50 illumination, warm-up 5 seconds. And then Devastating Salvo requires 100 illumination, and warm-up is 7 seconds. So we have the light attack and heavy attack. So to queue up an attack, basically we'll just do a couple of flares like that, and then a single shot. And then we are paused, so we're going to unpause combat, pressing space. And then we'll watch combat occur. So we've illuminated him, which gives us 43 illuminations. He spied us, which gives him 39. He's now up to 72, which is probably more than enough, but that's okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we have 4 seconds. Now he's going to submerge, drastically reduce illumination. But it doesn't matter because we took him down. So again, this is a little bug that occurs from time to time that I found. Basically what it is it thinks that you've scrolled down, but there's no way to scroll back up. Basically this is the death thing, and I'm sorry that I can't read it for you. So its back legs neatly folded as bluish blood gouts from its wounds, its golden glow begins to dim. So you can butcher it for supplies, record observations if we had 10, we don't. And we can dissect it for knowledge, and it's a very modest challenge. I have a 77% chance of success. Let's go ahead and do that. A crab full of conundrums. You set to work with your knives and acids. It is an undistinguished adolescent specimen, a megalops of one of the deep sea crab species, but its eyes, normally vestigial, and these troglodytic beasts are large and rather beautiful. The golden glow is almost gone now, although sparks leap now and then into your knife. So we gained 1 fragment for a new total of 121 fragments. We've succeeded in a pages challenge. The higher the quality, the higher the chance of success. Yay! So we won a battle. The Hungry Dead. See, I don't know why this bug is occurring, but we're having a hard time reading this up here, which is really upsetting me. I really wish that would stop doing that. So it looks like I've had this before, so it looks like one of our people that we're transporting, one of the tomb colonists, has awoken from his coffin, or confined rest, and found his way to the stores. When the cook came across him, he had consumed half a wheel of cheese and an alarming quantity of sway. So we can fling the villain overboard, he can walk home, or we can return him to the hold. Perhaps he'll stay put this time. We'll return him to the hold. Expostulating all the way. If you had provided me with more commodious quarters, if the ship did not pitch so abominably, a man grows bored, you know, death is deathly dull, and so forth, and so forth. It's a relief when the coffin lid closes. If only you could nail it shut. So we lost 1 supplies because that guy decided to eat all our food. So we have a cruise ship here. It's not really a cruise ship, but it's a watcher ship, basically, is what it is. So we're going to stop by here. Dock. Light ship. Its clear, bright beam warms the way. So we can speak to the crew because we have news of home, but we're not going to do that because we're going to keep our news of home. But you can speak to the crew, and it usually is used to reduce terror. That's how that works, but we're not going to do that. There's no reason. Rowena's Rock is what we're looking at here. We don't want to bump into Rowena's Rock, so we're going to turn. Now, if you take a look up here at the top, you see the skull here. Oh, another crab of the unterzea. No. Okay, well, I'll stop. We'll fight him in a moment. So if you take a look here, see how the skull has a little ring around it, and you see the little yellow dots? Whenever these yellow dots get a full ring, we go up 1 terror. As you can see, we've already gone up 2 terrors. Now, the closer you are to London and happy places and lights, the less likely that is to go up, but it will continuously go up. It's basically like a Z timer. The longer you spend at Z, the more likely your crew is going to mutiny. When it hits 100, they are absolutely going to mutiny. And most likely you're going to die. Sometimes you can not die. I've actually overthrown 1 mutiny before, but the second mutiny took me down. So you have to keep an eye on this. Now, when you go back to London, if it's over 50, it will drop back down to 50. I had a bug once where it didn't, and that was the second mutiny. Is I was at 75, I went back to London, and it didn't go down to 50 for some reason. But that was after an update, so there might have been some kind of weird bug going on. But just know that you have to keep an eye on that. Very super important to keep an eye on your terror. So let's fight! So we're going to fight. So this is all basically the same stuff. I'm not going to read it twice. But we are going to fight. So we want to do like 2 flares and a shot in the dark. 2 flares and a shot in the dark. Because it is faster that way. And if nothing else, we can get our supplies back. Aha! We don't have to dissect it. We can get our supplies back. So there's our first attack, which is 37. Our second attack, that's 73. And then we should be able to just bomb him. Just boom! Bow! Yay! And done. So we can butcher it for supplies. Let's just do that. Pale and salty meat. The crew will feast. That glowing fresh is unstable? Fresh? I think they mean flesh is unstable. It crisps and withers as the glow fades. So eat while it's fresh. You've lost 20 hunger. Okay, so apparently you don't get supplies from that. You just get food from it. Good to know. I do know for a fact that you get supplies from Z-Bats. You do get supplies from Z-Bats, although your crew's not very happy about it. Alright, so we wanted to head north. Now, as you can see down here is our logbook. August 14th, discovered Rowan's Rocks. August 14th, sighted a rural megalops. August 14th, discovered Hunter's Keep. Oh, Hunter's Keep. We'll stop by Hunter's Keep. We'll talk to the sisters. You guys don't know who the sisters are. That's fine. I know who the sisters are. Because I have been here before. Let's go ahead and stop by Hunter's Keep. And the easiest way to do that is this little glowing ring right here is where you dock. If you don't see a glowing ring, even if there is a bar out here, you're most likely not going to be able to dock. Hunter's Keep. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist, like 100 other unterzea islands. But there's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. So we can present ourselves to the house. They will have heard your ship come. Why hide? Walk in the garden. Take a couple of burly sailors with you, just in case. But the gardens are as tranquil as moonlight. We can order the island, plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in a fold of grounds. Anything else? Let's find out. So let's see. The sea is silent. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing changed, at least. So we got 1 port report for Hunter's Keep, which we can sell to the Admiralty. So let's go ahead and present ourselves to the house. A maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlor, where 3 young women wait. A visitor! The youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. Do excuse the indecorum, she says. Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia, and the noisy one is Phoebe. The cheerful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us? So we are acquainted with the sisters of the Hunter's Keep. So, not receiving visitors? The parlor's empty. Where are the sisters? Let's find out. Unlocking when sojourning with the sisters is, you are acquainted with the sisters, okay, and we have nothing awaits us. Let's find out what the sisters are. The maid makes it clear, through a series of unwelcoming growls, that Phoebe, Lucy, and Cynthia are all 3 indisposed. No lunch today, apparently. So apparently we can't do that. So we have news. We can stop by with news and drop off some news. I think we'll try that. Even when the sisters aren't feeling sociable, they can be tempted out of their lair with the smell of news stories. Let's try that. Knock and wait. You've asked the sulphur-eyed maid to carry a few hints of your news to the sisters. Oddly enough, she comes back with a message that their headaches are cured, and you're invited to lunch. The air trembles, a breath of change passes. Nice. So we get to have lunch. Yay! We convinced them to have lunch with us with a bit of news. I think we'll have a little bit of news. Let's see. Luncheon with the sister Cynthia. Cynthia is the eldest, melancholy, pensive, occasionally dramatic. Luncheon with sisters Lucy. Lucy is the middle sister, sunny, restless, prone to giggles. Luncheon with the sisters Phoebe. Phoebe is soft-voiced, watchful, unpredictable. We'll talk to Cynthia, the eldest. She knows what she's talking about. Cynthia grasps your arm and whispers to you. Her eyes are wide and blue. Her hair is wild and tangled. Bats might nest in it. It seems to you that you are sitting on a hillside, above a wide blue lake, listening to a story of a murder, an axe, a net, blood on scented water. Another chop, Cynthia asked. You barely touched your food. Here, I'll have the maid wrap something up for you. We've gained 1 supplies! You've acquainted with the Sisters of the Hunter's Keep. We've lost 16 hunger. Yay! You've gained 1 terror, because you told us a scary story. But we also now have 1 tale of terror, which goes towards our tales of terror. That goes towards our unterzea, our completion, basically. And that's all for now. So we have... You'll find a story when you next make port. You'll receive this from time to time as you travel to Z. So we've done that. We've got ourselves some stuff. We got some things. So let's go north. Uh-oh, pirate ship. Or something similar. He might chase us down. We're not going to attack him, I don't think. We're not going to go for that kind of thing. We are going to head north. This should be another light ship, I believe. Yes, another light ship. Now, in a recent update, they did say that they randomized the map a little bit. Like, there's a randomizer for the map. I'm not sure how much of the map is randomized. I do know that certain things are stay in certain locations, like Hunter's Keep, Vendor Bite, places like that. I think some of the smaller islands and some of the less important things, like the boats there and things like that, are randomized, but it's hard to say. Horniman's Stag. So we found Horniman's Stag, and we've discovered Tanachuk. That's nice. So yeah, they did say that there's some randomization to the map, but I don't know how much randomization or what exactly is randomized. Now, each time we make a discovery, by the way, we get fragments. So we're getting 50 fragments per discovery, and those Z-bats are chasing us down like you would not believe. Let us not fight the Z-bats if we can. We've discovered Venderbright. A false star flares in the cavern roof directly above you. Flares and fades. Ooh, good to know. Tomb colonies. The tomb colony of Venderbright. On deck you can hear the sound of 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concerts audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. So we could have a glass of dusty wine if we had terror over 25, which we don't. Our terror is only 10, so that's locked. We can't do that. What else do we have? We have Explore Venderbright. Here they fable candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged with cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculptures until they laugh or cough. One building in 3 seems abandoned. Let's explore. Alright, what do we get? Ah, a raggedy fellow. Captain, I'm a good seaman. I'm yours if you'll have me. Will you have me? I'm hungry. I'll work hard. He seems likely enough, if a little ragged and sorrowful. Take him with you. You could use an extra hand. Leave him here. Strangers are too chancy. You've heard stories about things in the shape of sailors, or you just don't like his face. So we have unlocked when a new face is. Not relevant here. You have this, okay. Unlocked with new crew, no more than 9. You have 8. Well, let's do it. Take a chance. You won't be sorry. I'll work double watches. Ask anyone. They'll tell you. I have a good name. Yes, yes. Eventually you get him to stop talking. His enthusiasm is promising, if a little pitiable. There may be further effects from this decision. Ooh, so we got a new story and a new crew member. Welcome aboard, stranger. You're welcome aboard, stranger. You welcomed a stranger aboard your ship. This may lead to complications. Ah, a skilled crewman. This is the sailor who came begging to you for a berth. He's done good work, this one, but he's keeping a little shrine to the salt, the nameless god of the horizon at the back of the hold. Permit it? Out here, a captain needs all the help he can get, even from sad, strange gods of farewells. Forbid it, you'll have none of this nonsense aboard your ship. If the salt ever exists, its attention is dangerous. Nah, we'll permit it. A breath of air. You let him keep his salt circle and his chalked arrow. That night, as you stand on the foredeck, a soft breeze comes out of the east, a salt direction. Tussles your hair. Passes. Ooh, my new face quality is gone. You now have salt's attention. Hey, we have gained a attention of the gods. It's washing you. If it even exists. Nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a couple other things here. We'll gather gossip. This is a port report. Who's plotting what? Out in the tomb colonies. Along the coast of the Untersea, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home, or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep the contacts in London interested. Ah, so we have one of this port report from Venderbright. And we have visit the first curator. Zea Captain. The first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been there much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists, but even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Time is close. Let's go check it out. No more light. The obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door, and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplight bees buzz in the latticed ivory tube. There's no other source of light. A bandage shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on the couch. It lifts its head in obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Listen to the whispered request. Zea Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colors. 7 colors. Pay well. 7 colors. Cosmogon, Irigo, Pelican. Steward has list. Find them here and there. Across the ride, Black Z. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium? One hears the name whispered, here and there in the arcade of Venderbright. Oh, Soapskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below. Not unless we go to Z. So we needed something else. Somewhere to end. Ooh. Let us take him up on his commission. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for color. No more words. It collapses, wrestling back on the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. The door opens. The door opens. It shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim, illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. We will be grateful if you could do this one last favor. So we now have one of this, a page from the Nithbo, Pelican, Irigo, Virik, Violent, Apacin, Gant, and Cosmogon, and we now have one of this, the Nithbo. So we have to find those colors out at Z. Now, we came here for a reason, which is to go to shop, and we're going to go to the Charno Lounge. Do you have tomb colonists? Drop them off here for payment. So we have 3 tomb colonists, which we will sell. Now we have 115 echoes! Yay, we're rich forever. We have a shipyard, which has the Arcade of Size. The Leucothea, class steam yacht. Ooh, that's nice. A vessel for diplomats, merchants, and wealthy spies. Quarters, 20. Hold, 60, which is better. Ship weight, 3,000. Hearts, 10. Veils, 10. Hull, 100. Pages, 10. But it requires 1 times deed to a steam yacht. So we would have to find deeds to a steam yacht to get this. That sounds like something super secret that you can get. The Arcade of Size sells food and fuel, but we're not going to get that because there's no reason. Now, there's no reason, plus it's more expensive than in London. Now, we've come here, we've gone to the Sisters, we Hunter's Keep, and so on. So we're going to head back to London. Now, while we head back to London, we're going to take a look at our map. Now, if you take a look at our map, this is our map. Fallen London is where you start, and as you could probably guess, it's just a big white area and a big black Z. But as you travel, you unlock areas. You basically, as you cross through areas, it opens them up, and you can see them. Now, each time you start a new game, every time you die and start a new game, this whole area will become black unless you are able to, you are able to pass on one item to your next captain, whether it be a skill, a crew member, or your chart. If you happen to pass your chart along... Oh, we're being attacked. Now, if you look up here, see how it's green right there? I believe if it goes around full and is green, you'll lose a terror, but it's a lot harder to get green than it is to get orange. But anyway, you are able to pass on your maps. So if you pass on your chart to your next captain, if you have nothing else to pass on that you care about, you can pass on your charts. And that way you can at least keep your map set, which is super helpful when you're playing your game. If you die and you need to start again, knowing where things are is a lot more helpful than trying to guess. So, a bat swarm. Here are the little cousins of night, come to tear your flesh and drink your blood. Don't let them get close. Already your crew cry out in fear. Fight! They may leave scars, but they're only vermin. We will fight them. Because again, if you run away, it increases your terror, and there's no point. So they have 20 of 20 life. So let's go ahead and do some illuminations. We'll do like 3 illuminations, and we'll fire a shot. That's very simple to do. We can also evade if necessary, so they don't scratch us up, because they can scratch us up. Or some creatures, especially unterzea creatures, will just steal your crew. That's their thing. They'll actually just straight up steal your crew. They don't even care. If you run into a Z crab, most of the time, if they get close enough to your ship, if they're too close, they'll just steal your crew. All right, looks like that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I wanted that. Uh-oh. Based on veils, dramatically reduces illumination. Uh-oh. Yay! We got him before he was able to deluminate. Oh, he's still alive. Crud. If he gets too much light, he's going to attack. Oh, good, he didn't attack. Good. Woo! Ah, the bat swarm defeated. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the Neathly Dark. Record any observations. If you've gathered enough, you may learn something. We didn't. Gather up the corpses. They are succulent, with stolen blood. Into the pot! Or dispose of their corpses. Their mere touch leaves you shuddering. This will slightly reduce terror. We'll do that. When it says slightly reduce terror, it's usually 1 point of terror. Over the side. Their eyes are still fierce in death. Sailors sweep them overboard with brooms. Careful not to touch them. So we now have a total of 10. So we're going to mosey our way back to London. And So this again, this is how the game differs from Fallen London. Is you do have this action sequence here. You have your boat, you have the combat, you have collecting things, you have the exploration aspect. If you play Fallen London, you will get the same thing that you get at the docks, which is, of course, the cards and the stories and the things like that. Keep away, bats! We can overload our engines to outrun them, but I don't really feel like it. We should be able to outrun them just fine. Nope, we did not. Fight the bats! Alright, so we'll say 1, 2, 3, and we'll fire a shot, because that is how we do. So very simple. Now, knowing how to take down an enemy means that you could probably do observations if you wanted to. So you can get enough observations to maybe learn something, maybe get a scrap, maybe get some secrets, maybe even find out something even deeper. There might be like a huge story hidden behind one of these things. Like the bats are like the minions of some creature or some god out there. You don't know. You don't know until you've actually done it, which is super duper awesome. And that was our second shot. I don't know if that'll be... no, reduce, swarm, the attack's more effective against ships with more crew and supplies. It cannot be used with enemies more than 50 illumination. We lost a crew member. We have to evade. So we're going to do a couple of evades, and then we have to do a couple of illuminations. Yeah, they're going to be able to attack. So they took a couple of our crew out, apparently. No! They're going to attack our crew. We may die here. Looks like we don't have a choice. Fire! So we lost a couple of crew members. Hurry up. Let's just sweep them overboard, get rid of our terror, because our terror went way up. So we've lost 2 terror. Terror is now 15 wary. Their eyes are still fierce in death. Yes. Alright, let's get out of here before we get more Z-Bats on our tail. Let's just go. Screeching, dispersing. They're gone for now. You have fled from your opponents. You've lost 1 fuel, now a total of 5. You succeeded in a mirrors challenge. The higher the quality, the higher the chance of success. So we were able to flee and hopefully get away from these guys. These Z-Bats are not kind. Z-Bats are not kind at all. Uh-oh, pirates! Ah! The Z is out to get us today. Go, 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 go. Okay, so he missed us, which is odd. The air trembles. A breath of change passes. Hey, look, low Barnett. And there's Hunter's Keep if we needed to stop by somewhere. Hunter's Keep I don't believe has anything. He is chasing us fast. Okay, he's gonna go, I think. Home waters. The crew dawdle at the rails, watching for the lights of London. London in Rostock docks. Wolfstock docks, excuse me, not Rostock docks. Wolfstock docks. Finally made it home. Wow, he chased us pretty far. So yeah, the Unterzea is trying to kill us today. Unfortunately, we lost two crew members. Yeah, we lost 2 crew members, which is upsetting. But that's the way things go. You know, you lose a crew member. Alright, we return to fallen London. Victorious, but worn. And our terror has gone up to 20. Ugh. Now once your terror goes up to about 50, it'll basically remain there for most of the game. Returning to London. This story only appears when you've been at sea for a little while. Collect messages from the Harbour Master. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Other messages for you. And a breath of relief. As soon as your gangplank touches the quay's side, the terrors of the deep sea lighten. You walk taller, smile more readily, but what dreams may cling. And you need terror 51, so we don't have terror 51. Unlocked with a proposal from a businessman. Alright. Collected a message from the Harbour Master. That's all for now. Someone wants to sign on. Ooh, and something has changed in the Neath. So a little gift. So this is one of the stories that unlocked, but I'm not going to show it to you. I will tell you that it opens up a huge branching path of all sorts of decisions later on. But I'm not going to show it to you because we're nearly done. So let's go back to our lodgings really quick. We'll get some more news from the paper. We've already read this one, so we'll not bother reading it again. We lost a terror. Yay. We've gained 1 supplies. Yay. Now a total of 2. Yeah, we need to get more supplies. And we have 1 recent news. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to London. And we're going to go to the Admiralty's office. And then what we're going to do is we are going to drop off Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of Her Enduring Majesty notionally, excuse me. So we got an Admiralty's favor. We've confirmed our visit to Hunter's Keep. We no longer have a port report, and we gain 5 echoes. You don't always gain 5 echoes. You gain whatever echoes are based on how far away the item is or the place is. So the farther away, the more dangerous it is, the more scary it is, the harder it is for them to get information, the more they'll pay for it. You can get up towards like 30, 40 echoes for a port report. What have the nearly dead been up to then? So we've submitted it. We've got our Admiralty stuff. We've got 10 echoes because it's a little bit farther away than Hunter's Keep. We don't need to speak to the higher authority or anything, but if we do that mission, Who knows? Somebody may come by and talk to us, because we do still have that mission. And look, we've got more terror, we've got time, the healer, ever-changing, it's 6. New recruit, someone wants to sign on, that's 2. I believe we can do that inside London itself. A new recruit, awaits your attention. Let's see. Engage an officer, the brisk campaigner. Hoi! You need a real physician, none of your surgeons. Ooh, well, we can get a new physician if we want. We don't want. Engage an officer, the haunted doctor. Please, I must leave this place. I can work my passage. I'm a doctor. Engage a sailor. What desperate desire has led this one to sign on? Who cares? They're very keen. Consequently, they're cheap. This will simply increase your crew by 1, which is what, yeah, it's 5 echoes. Better than 30 echoes, honestly. And we did lose a couple of crew members, so we'll grab a crew member. Done. They come, they go. May this one live a little longer than most. So we lost 1 terror because we got a new crew member. It only cost us 5 echoes, and we've gained 1 crew for a total of 8. Done. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Sunless Sea, based on Fallen London by Fail Better Games. Fallen London, of course, fallenlondon.com if you want to try out the free-to-play Fallen London to find out if you like this whole story-esque style of play. I think that's a great demo for this game, honestly, is fallenlondon.com. Free, perfectly free to play. Sign up, play the game. And if you like that kind of flipping cards, reading stories, making choices kind of gameplay, if you find that you like Fallen London, if you find that you go back constantly and play it again and again and again, then you'll know that you like that type of gameplay. And if you like that type of gameplay, adding on the boats, the ships, the unterzea, all the stories that you can find here in Fallen London, which are different from, or here in Sunless Sea, which are different from what you find in the Fallen London website. 2 different characters, they don't intermix. If you can find joy in that, you can find lots of joy in this, because it also adds the exploration aspect on it, and it's completely different stories, because now you're a Zea Captain. You're not just somebody who's living in Fallen London. You are a Zea Captain, and you have so much more to offer. Super fun, super good, super deep. Still an alpha build, so there's some stuff still missing that'll be added on later, and it's going to change, and things are going to be different as time goes on. So please note that this version of the game is an alpha build, but it is available for sale on Steam. I forget the exact price, but if you think you like it enough, and if you played Fallen London and you like the way it plays, and you think you might like this, go grab it. I think it's wonderful, and the graphics are wonderful, and the story is epic, and it's just really fun to play. But for now, we're going to go ahead and pause here. So for now, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4KB Short, on this bargain bin of Sunless Sea, and I'll see you guys next game.